Hi guys, and welcome back to part 18 of the Lunak build. There's one flying, courtesy of Dom's channel. And today I'm going to start, well, if you remember last time I finished off doing the wings and doing the leading edge. So that's probably ready now to start putting some fiberglass around it. But just before I do that, I want to work on the ailerons. And I've made something, let me show you. Let me turn you down. I've made a bunch of grapes. So this is what I've made. A little 3D printed quadrant, stuck a bit of sandpaper in there. And I'm going to have a go at the leading edge of this. I'm not sure, it looks a bit small now, but this has to be rounded completely. Yeah, but it tapers, so it's a sort of a, what would you call it? Actually, thinking about it, I wonder if I ought to put on the piece of wood along the top first. There's a piece of balsa which sort of goes across the top. I'm wondering if I ought to put that on first, because that would become part of the sanding process. If I put it on afterwards, then it's going to be too far back. Yeah, okay, I was just going to use that, but we'll have to put that to one side. So I think I'll have to work on getting these a little bit more prepared. I'm thinking I could possibly use 1/32 balsa for this. My reasoning is, originally it was designed for 1/64 ply open structure, but if I use 1mm balsa, then I can have a much smaller trailing edge. That'll go down really nice and tight. That'll go on there, then I can round it, and I've also got to have a piece on the bottom, so that will go on there. 1, 2, 3, 4. These ailerons need to have a twist in them, and as you can see there is a twist. It's up a couple of millimeters, but I want to twist it more. I want to twist it up to about 6 mil. Probably pin this end down right through there. Great big pin. 1, 2. And then when I turn this, that will stay flat. 6 mil. That'll do nicely, sir. Pop that in there. Like that. And then ideally I want something just halfway down, just to take the whip out really. I'll just run the glue down here, guys, and I'll be right back. Okay, smear it out. Changed the construction quite a lot on this model now. Haven't looked at the plans for a while. I'm building it how I would build it, construct it. Right, I'll just glue this up, guys, and I'll be right back. It wants to come out a little bit. It's about there. I suppose I could start cutting a few capping strips. On the plan it shows little twiddly bits in the ply going around. you won't even see it under the covering. So I was going to cut it like that out of the balsa on the laser, but there really isn't a lot of point, I don't think. Here's a tip for you. Each one of these cap strips is slightly smaller than the next. So if I start with the big end, if I cut it too small, I can use it further down. If I go that end and cut it too small, it won't fit further up with it. So I should start there. I'm going to try and just get it spot on without having to sand it. There we go. Strong enough to hold itself. If you have to mark something, maybe it fits better one way up than the other, just put a little mark on the balsa. Don't put pen marks, even pencil marks. 21 ribs in the aileron, so that's 42 cap strips, that's 84 cap strips in all. 84! But we just work our way through nice and slowly. We're in no rush. So I'm going to keep working my way down, guys, and I'll see you back when I'm gluing some in, I guess. This end one has to be flush with the outside, so safe sanding it if I get it just right. Next. This one's got glue squeezing out because it's got the blocks either side for the hinge, so I'll just take that off. What I do, I just feel over the cap strip, and you can feel if you've got an equal amount each side. I've cracked on and got the second aileron fixed up and angled and cap stripped, so good progress. And now I'm going to leave that to dry overnight, and we'll come back to it tomorrow. Right guys, welcome back. It is next morning and everyone's bright-eyed, and don't forget the bushy tails. So what I'm actually interested to see is how the aileron hopefully will keep its twist now without having to worry about trying to keep the twist into it. It's springing flat fillet, so it's not a good start. So we'll see how we get on anyway. See how it looks compared to offering it up to the wing, and then we'll know. Oh, there's a definite twist to that. Definite twist to that. That's good. So it's neutral down this end, and it's just about up 6mm that end. So what's the big deal? Well, that's the washout that the plan specifies has to be built into the aileron. It's looking pretty much spot on. Nice. Okay, now we'll come to the really good bit of sanding, or trying to round up the front. I was thinking I might use the David plane. It's called a David plane because it's got the word David written in there. I'm not going to put any guidelines on it. Go to full length. Let's just lift that out of the way again. Time for the therapy session. Because I've got my sort of sanding jig made up, I'm hoping that it's going to sort it out this curve. try the sounding block. And this sounding block, look, it's got CHRCP in the back. Cliff RC planes. RC, of course, stands for really cute. Right, so we've got a flat piece here, so it's curved up, it's a constant curve. Okay guys, I've had a busy few minutes, so I finished rounding the leading edge up to this point, and I've just set in the hinges on the 3 points. So they are now ready to transfer the positions to the wings, and then I'll continue. So following on from the hinges, I thought the best way to mark the position in the back of the wing would be to file a point on some little balsa sticks, 4mm dowel I should say, and just push it in, which has worked to an extent. And now I'm just working on the angles before I start drilling holes. It's worked quite well. Okay, that's not looking too bad at the moment. I've just skimmed a little bit of the wood away underneath here up to about there, and it's not bad at all. It's probably pushing a bit tighter actually. The tighter in you go, the less movement you've got though. So anyway, I'm going to do the other wing now, and we'll see how I get on. Actually, I'll start with the aileron, then push it forward like I did on the other side. So I'm going to go back to watching Jeff flying his around the world roundup and do a bit more work on this. I've added a piece of hardwood on the trailing edge of the wing, and it tapers all the way down. Didn't quite have enough, changed to a beachy I think. It tapers down to there, so there's want a little bit of fill in there to take out the edge, but I've got to sand it a bit more yet. But the thing is, the aileron is now pretty much level with the back of the trailing edge and working very nicely. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that. I think that was a good decision. Okay guys, good morning. I've just cut out some control horns for the ailerons out of 1.2mm fiberglass board, and that's going to be slotted into there. And I'm offering up the servo. The servo's sitting in its little 3D printed holder, and I've just selected this horn. And I'm just offering it up really just to have a look to see what's what. The horn's going to be in the centre, so that governs the position of the servo. Quite nice short control rods, which is nice. I don't want this to stick out too far because it's going to be vulnerable underneath, but then I don't want it to be down too far because it's not going to I don't want it to bind on the wing itself. So I'm thinking sort of halfway down, and I'm thinking I need to put a couple of rails to support it. It could be anyway, or either that or a plate. Rails or a plate, maybe a plate and rails. And that's where I am at the moment. So I'm going to give it a little bit more thought and see what I can come up with. Right, I'm quite pleased with that. What did I do? Well, the answer was right in front of my face. The offcut of the trailing edge. I've just put on 2 supports either side, doubled up, and then a piece of 1/8 light ply across the 2 supports. So it's given me the servo that sits there. I've just printed out some covers for the servos, and that's it's just what it looks like. That's one for that side. I've made it slightly bigger so it's a better fit, but what I'm going to do now is to put some blocks in the corners, or little bits of ply or something that I can just run some screws down just to hold that on, and that will give me loads of protection for the horn so nothing gets ripped out. Quite pleased with them actually, they look okay. Right, with the servo roughly in position, we get a bit of movement, plenty of movement there. The cover will go on there. I might have to just move the centre part of the cover across slightly. It's an exciting moment because I'm going to fiberglass the leading edge of the wing. Now I've been working towards this for the last few months but the day has finally arrived. I got my supplies from Bucks Composites in the UK, as that's where I am, and I've done the fuselage with 25 gram cloth and 50 gram cloth, but the leading edge of the wing I'm going to fiberglass with 25 gram cloth, and then I'll be able to fare it in very easily when I come to fill it and cover it. Cloth is very, as you can see, very lightweight, so I'm going to cover this because it'll make the leading edge less prone to dents and abuse on some of our flying fields, but that's not big enough by a long shot. So I shall break out my 25 gram cloth. Actually, I'll cut some off, but I'm just wondering how far around I should go. Let me work out a way of holding the wing upright and cutting out a piece of cloth. I'll probably only go back sort of 3 centimeters, inch and a quarter, and run it down all the way to the root. Right, there we are guys, a couple of G clamps, long ones, and it just supports it lovely. Laid this over the wing and just cut off a couple of inches all the way up. I'll put that carefully over there. I'm going to cut both now just in case I've got resin going off and no time to sort of see to it. So I'm going to cut another length off of the top of this and find the start of it again. Put that there like that. Advertise Bucks Composites. Right. That's very nearly 25 grams. So now I'm going to put in should take it up to 35. Okay. There we go. I'm just going to open the window. Oh, it's cold, cold, cold breeze. And a pair of gloves. Again, courtesy of Bucks Composites. Off there now, turn that off, put it out of the way. Stir that up. I'm going to start by just running a bit on the leading edge, like this. And hold it in place. Just making sure I've got level amount each end, each side. Nice. The thing is about putting it on with a roller, it puts it on it incredibly evenly, doesn't it? You use a brush, then you're going to be forever stippling and soaking it out. But this is lovely and even. If you've ever used a roller to sort of put paint on, then you know how even it can get. Bring that off of the clamps a minute. It's a bit like planing. This is an incredibly satisfying job. Right, what I'm going to do, guys, I'll just play around with this wingtip. I might put a couple of snips in it, and I'll come back to you in a minute when I'm happy with what I've done. Okay, that's not too bad. I think I might need to have to mix up a little bit more, but let's just get it in the light. So I'm working in my shadow. Can't put it down now. I'm just going to load this up a little bit more. I've got some spare resin. I'll just put it on this bare balsa in a minute. I'll call this one done, I think, guys, and find somewhere to put it and let it set. Then I can come back to it. We can give it a sand and start prepping it with filler and what have you. Okay, let me put it down somewhere and I'll come back to you when the second one is done. In fact, how about I come back to you when I'm trimming it and sanding it. That was easy, wasn't it? Right, see you soon, guys. Bucks Composites, UK. Check them out. Excellent service.